Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard. Thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. So checking with the jet stream here early on Tuesday morning, we've got a look that we haven't seen for a while. We've got a trough in the west and a ridge over the central and the eastern U.S., and that is allowing some warmth to build back into the middle part of the country, an area that's been unseasonably cool for about the last month, if not a little bit more in some areas. As we head through the next few days, this is a look at the jet stream here on Thursday evening. We're going to see a trough digging through the Intermountain West into the northern plains. That's keeping things very active across the northern plains into the upper Midwest in terms of shower and thunderstorm activity. That ridge continuing to slide east, allowing that warmth to slide east, and some of that will reach the northeast region here, although we're going to see a little bit more of that heat as we talk about that later on next week. The next 10 days, your temperature anomalies, here you go. The first 5, seeing some of that warmth building into the Midwest, moving into the eastern United States. But as we look at the period that follows there, September 16th through the 20th, really reestablishing that ridge across the central and the eastern U.S., allowing some of that warmth to expand into the northeast region. Also going to see things become a little bit more active as we head into the week 2 time frame. Again, over the next week, really watching the northern plains into the Great Lakes. But then as we head into the week 2 time frame, maybe expanding that a bit from the central U.S. into the eastern Corn Belt and the northeast, although details a bit more unclear when we look that far out. The last 24 hours of precipitation, once again, focused on the northern plains and the upper Midwest. We did see some severe weather across the state of Iowa yesterday, a bunch of wind reports, one tornado here in South Dakota, and even a couple of large hailstones here across parts of Kansas. The northeast region quiet now. That may change here as we head in the next few days, at least in the form of some thunderstorms, maybe not widespread severe weather. That expected to be back towards the northern plains and the upper Midwest, but we'll take a look at how things evolve here and when we can expect some thunderstorm activity in the northeast region. The satellite picture here, Tuesday morning, again, high pressure over the eastern U.S. We've got clear skies for many across the northeast region here as we wake up on Tuesday morning. Shower and thunderstorm activity further to the west across parts of Iowa and Wisconsin. Looking at the radar picture again, quiet across the northeast region. We have those showers and storms located further west across parts of Iowa and Wisconsin this morning. That all because of a frontal boundary that extends here across from a surface low across northern Minnesota, stretching back into parts of the central plains. And again, high pressure over the northeast region. That's what's keeping us quiet. As we look ahead to Wednesday evening now, heading into Thursday morning, we see the surface low that's over Minnesota right now kind of race into the northeast region, taking the front with it, dragging it across the region. The front stalls across the Midwest back into the northeast region, and that's going to bring the thunderstorm chances into the northeast and kind of keep them here at least off and on heading into next week. The severe weather forecast for the next 3 days, here is Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday as we go across the screen. Maybe a marginal risk for a strong storm on the Pennsylvania-New York border tomorrow as that frontal boundary kind of stalls across the region. That would be tomorrow evening more likely. And then as we head into Thursday, quiet again across the northeast region, which we have another surface low making its way through parts of the Midwest, and that will eventually move into the northeast region as well as we get closer to the weekend. Looking at the high-resolution rapid refresh, this will take us through the next 18 hours or so. You see a couple showers and storms perhaps moving across northern regions, parts of Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, as we head into, this will be late in the evening here, Tuesday, heading into the overnight. The better chance going to be Wednesday as we talk about more widespread showers and storms along that frontal boundary. This model stops here Wednesday afternoon. Now the NAM model, that's going to do a better job of telling the story here across the northeast region as we get into Wednesday evening. Taking this through Tuesday afternoon now, getting into late Tuesday. Again, watching for maybe a couple showers and storms across far northern portions of the northeast region later tonight. As we head into the day tomorrow, though, the surface low approaches, taking the front with it. That's where we see more widespread shower and storm activity off to the south across parts of New York and Pennsylvania. Of course, the chance for a couple of strong storms, primarily producing some damaging wind gusts Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and early in the overnight. Once again, across this region here, primarily across New York State and Pennsylvania. So we talk about the total accumulated precipitation from this. You see first the showers off to the north, and then by the time we get to the end of that loop, covering the Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and Wednesday night, showers and storms off to the south. Scattered precipitation in general across the entire region here. It's going to be hit or miss as we talk about precipitation through Thursday with this first frontal passage. 5-day accumulated precipitation, this from the national blended model. So this takes kind of a consensus look at several of our better models and kind of puts together an averaged picture or a consensus picture. And again, we're honing in on the northern plains into the Great Lakes as the primary region here over the next 5 days for more widespread showers and storms scattered in nature as we talk about the northeast region. This really illustrates the pattern well, looking at the loop of the dew point temperatures, and you see the feed of moisture up into the central U.S. You can see the frontal boundaries kind of stalled across the region. If I just play this out one more time, you'll see this first frontal boundary making its way in here towards the end of the loop. Watching it right now, kind of right here. Take this out, this would be midnight on Wednesday, taking this into the day on Wednesday now. You can kind of see the showers and storms erupt in this moist, unstable air mass. You can kind of draw it in right there. You've got the moisture there for the showers and storms. I'm losing my train of thought right there. So we'll keep moving. I want to talk about where we're headed then as we get past these next couple of days. We'll bring this back. We'll start it here on Tuesday again. Trough in the west, ridge in the east. That is the reason for the current setup here, the very active northern plains and the warmth across the Midwest expanding into the northeast region. We'll take this through the next few days. You see this first system kind of making its way through the flow right there. It's making its way up and over the top of the ridge, cutting through the northern plains here as we get to the end of the week, and then lifting off to the north by the time we get to the weekend. That allows the ridge to reestablish itself across the central and the eastern U.S. Here we are on Monday now of next week with a flow like this. Trough back in the west, a ridge across the central and the eastern U.S., allowing warmth to rebuild across the middle part of the country. We'll take this into the middle part of next week, all the way into now Wednesday and Thursday. That's about as far as I've got confidence in things, and that just keeps us warm here from the eastern Corn Belt into the northeast region, really turning warmer, more summer-like as we head into next week. The 500 millibar vorticity plot, this will kind of help us pick out storm systems moving through the flow. We get this first wave coming through. Now I want to show you the more impressive wave that comes through later in the week. So here it is on Wednesday, emerging from the Rocky Mountains across the Central Plains. You see the swirl right there. That is a compact, very well-defined storm system, an area of low pressure that'll be moving, again, from the Central Plains into parts of the Northeast region as we head into the weekend. Now that ridge reestablishes itself as we head into the early part of next week. This is an extremely warm pattern across the Midwest into the Northeast region. As you play this out a bit further, it wants to swing another storm system up and through the northern plains into Canada as we talk about getting into late next week. So certainly perhaps keeping things active across that region. So you look at the GFS precipitation plot. We'll just kind of take this quickly through the first few days. We've talked about this in depth here, talking about the Wednesday thunderstorm threat across New York and Pennsylvania. As we take this through Thursday now, and then Friday, high pressure across the region, keeping us quiet until this frontal boundary makes its way through, when we could see a couple more showers and storms along that as we get into the end of the week and the beginning of the weekend. This clears the area, and then we're quiet again as we head into next week. Maybe southern regions here seeing some pop-up showers and storms as we deal with open flow from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing moisture up from the north. Any boundary here would have the opportunity to pop up with showers and storms, but really looking isolated to scattered in nature. More widespread precipitation opportunities here being advertised later on into next week, but we'll leave details on that as we get closer to that time. Total accumulated precipitation from the GFS model day by day. We'll take this back to Tuesday. Now a little bit more gung-ho across parts of the eastern Corn Belt than I'm comfortable with on Tuesday. But as we get to Wednesday, here you see the frontal boundary stalled across the region, scattered precipitation, scattered showers and storms, especially across New York and Pennsylvania on Wednesday. Heading into Thursday, quiet. We've got high pressure across the region. Same story on Friday, although late in the day Friday, that frontal boundary begins approaching. Probably going to see more of that scattered shower activity as we get into the day on Saturday. Sunday, quiet across the Northeast region. Mostly quiet again as we head into early next week, although again, high pressure across the Southeast, keeping moisture pumping into the Corn Belt and to parts of the Northeast region, of course, keeping the chance for perhaps isolated showers and storms in the forecast early next week. Temperature anomalies, this will once again show the ridge reestablishing itself as we go through the next few days. Here you're seeing some of that warmth across the Northeast region. The first front comes through the region, or comes through the Midwest, bringing a cool down to the area over the weekend, but then that ridge reestablished itself very easily as we head into next week, keeping warmth across really the entire eastern 2/3 of the United States. This will show the pattern once again here with the first front not clearing the area. We're looking at precipitable water, so the amount of moisture in the area or in the air. Again, very moist, very unstable as we watch this flow coming around that area of high pressure off to the south, pumping moisture into the middle part of the country. Now, here's the first frontal boundary. We've got an area of low pressure up here, cold front extending down from it. That's bringing that shot of cooler, less humid air to the Midwest here as we get into the weekend. But watch the front. You can kind of see it right here, a little bit further south from there, stalling out. It's not progressing any further south. And in fact, we've already got southerly flow returning that moisture to the Corn Belt, to the Northeast region. And that's what allows that ridge to keep the warm and humid air in the forecast or in the area as we head into next week. Your high temperatures for the next 5 days, anywhere from the 60s to the 80s from north to south for the day on Tuesday. Warmer for many on Wednesday. Thursday, we get a cooler shot on the backside of that cold front. A little bit cooler still on Friday, but by the time we get to the weekend, really going to be starting to warm up, gaining some warm momentum as we head into next week. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Monday or our Thursday morning ag forecast video. And I'll have your next check-in with the Northeast region on Friday. Have a great day.